Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It is my esteemed pleasure to introduce our next keynote of the night. Alice Reimer is a successful tech entrepreneur and dedicated community mentor and leader. She has co-founded Calgary-based Evoco, leading the innovative software firm from initial concept to a 2012 acquisition. Evoco's technology became the standard construction management system for global retailers, including Home Depot, Walmart, and Luxotia. Most recently, Alice was the CEO of Chartix, a pioneering software leader in the crowdsourcing and open innovation space, with global clients including Lego, IBM, and KPMG. Alice was the recipient of Profit's W100 designation as of Canada's top female entrepreneurs and was named one of Alberta's 50 most influential people for 2013. Impressive resume. She is on the board of the A100 and is the board chair for Startup Calgary. A very warm welcome to you, Alice. The floor is yours.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nima. So I have prepared a little bit of a presentation, and I'll just get you to give me a thumbs up that you can see everything today for my presentation before we get started. So I'm delighted to be here at the Student Energy Conference, and I'm going to share with you why I think this is the absolute best time in history to be a STEM graduate and the opportunities that are there and afforded to all of you. So let me go ahead and get started. So the story that many of you are hearing today, and we hear all the time in the media, and in particular over the last 5 years, is how, Calgary it's all doom and gloom. In fact, our economy is in free fall. There's many conversations that, Calgary is in decline. And in fact, it's a backpack that we all carry every day. And so I think it's fair that we acknowledge that yes, in the energy business and the oil and gas business, we are in fact going through a generational shift. And the pandemic is taking a toll on all of us. In fact, I think many of you are pining for the time when you got to sit beside your classmates or spend time in a university lab. And so, as we say, the struggle is real. But at the same time, I want to tell you about a different story. I want to tell you about a story that is also true. And it's a story about how over the last 20 years, tech and innovation have been revitalizing Calgary. It might not be quite as obvious as it should be, but it's there. It's our economy, it's our culture, it's our future. And in fact, I'm going to tell you a story about why I believe Calgary is positioned to be the innovation hotbed over the next 20 years, and certainly why I continue to be invested in realizing that statement. It's a story about how the global path to net zero in 2050 includes fossil fuel companies, renewable energy, clean tech, energy tech companies, and the decarbonization of technology, and why I desperately believe we have the opportunity to lead in that conversation. And so this story is about you. This story truly is about you, and why I believe that this is the best time for STEAM, and that's science and technology, engineering, math, and design. It isn't just the sciences, it truly is the arts, the communication, and the design, and why this is the very best time to enter the workforce. It's about the opportunities for the future, and why I think that all of you have a reason to be optimistic as you leave and go into the next stage, whether it's your final year of university or into the workforce, to work with some of the exciting opportunities and companies that are here with us in Calgary today. And so let me actually start with my journey, because I think that'll be a bit of a context setting. So I'm going to harken back to Calgary in 1999. And so for some of you, you may have just been in diapers, some of you may have been in preschool or kindergarten. But in 1999, it was an amazing time to be a STEM graduate. There were tremendous opportunities in the oil and gas and the energy business in 1999. And we weren't facing some of the challenges that we are today. But while it was an amazing time to be a STEM graduate in 1999, it was pretty lonely to be a tech entrepreneur. And in fact, that was me in 1999 in Calgary. as a tech entrepreneur and a long way from Silicon Valley. Pre-millennium, Calgary, in fact, was a tech desert. The first bubble was inflating in the valley, but it wasn't happening here. We didn't have the same technology and innovation ecosystem that we have today. We weren't investing in the tech talent, in the community and the customers as we are today. You know, in 1999, we had something called UTI, which was the University Tech Transfer Office. And if you were a university researcher and you had created innovation, you'd created an invention inside of the university, you know, there was a support system that was able to help you figure out how to commercialize that. But if you were bringing a new innovation to market outside of the university, it was pretty lonely. There was pretty desolate. And the notion that you could start a tech company here in Calgary and serve one of the largest retailers in the world wasn't a thing. But 1999, I was pretty committed to make that a reality. And so 1999, we co-founded our first organization, our first company called Evoco. And just for a little bit more context, in 1999, we didn't have smartphones. We had flip phones, and our flip phones had yet to become smart. We were just getting started with internet in our homes. And if you did have internet in 1999, it was likely dial-up. And you know, Shaw was not sending out a modem via mail and having it show up at your front door. You were waiting weeks for installation. But undeterred, in 1999, we created our first company, and we became the very first software as a service construction management platforms for big box retailers. Today, the things we take for granted, like sharing, you know, 2D or 3D design and construction plans over the web. In 1999, what we did is we created the platform that allowed us and all of the different stakeholders as part of a design and construction project to be able to share their files over the web. Today, you know, the things, you know, an analogous to that would be, for example, thinking about sending it via snail mail or courier. And so 13-year, what we call 13-year overnight success, we became the leader in global construction management software. And in fact, we served 5 of the top 10 global retailers, including Walmart, Home Depot, Luxottica. Luxottica is and continues to be the world's largest eyeglass retailer. And we had retailers all over the world, whether it be, you know, we were building a store in the cornfield in Iowa or from Shenzhen, China. We became the global platform for design and construction for big box multi-location retailers. All started from the spare bedroom of our home in 1999. In 2012, we sold our organization to the leading real estate platform, Accruent, out of Austin, Texas. And today they continue to use our software around the world for design and construction management. So, you know, big dreams to do the things that you don't think can be done. I can tell you, and I can promise you, and I will share with you today that those things can happen. And from Evoco, I had the great opportunity to move to work with another organization with a global reputation called Keynote. And Keynote was really and truly the first commercially and fully scalable platform for crowdsourced innovation. I started out as the chief growth and product officer and eventually became the CEO, really helping transform that organization and to be a world leader in terms of product and crowdsourced product innovation. And so moving from, you know, working with the world's first largest brand being Walmart to working with the world's most loved brand with Lego. So why Lego? Lego was one of Keynote's first international clients. It's in fact what put them on the map. In fact, Keynote was instrumental in launching a platform called Lego Ideas. Lego Ideas today has over a 1 million community of fans. And in fact, the Lego Ideas platform and community helps drive new product innovation, new Lego idea sets, if you will, for the Lego family or the Lego products. So this one here, you're seeing Mary Curie. The Mars rover was one of their first products that they brought to market. And rather than having the traditional product managers inside of the Lego organization design and develop those products, Lego Ideas brings their community of fans together, and they drive new product innovations and new product ideas to the market. And in fact, these tend to be their highest profitable products and sell out very, very quickly. And so Lego Ideas and Chaotix, an incredible opportunity to lead crowdsourced innovation in the market. But Chaotix didn't just have Lego as a product, as one of their major clients. Lego, KPMG, HSBC, HTC, all global brands that Chaotix served right here from our city, from our province, using our platform in Chaotix. And these were businesses that were started before 1999, in the first decade of our century. Still a small tech scene, but that was just sort of gave us a little bit of an opportunity into what was happening. So let's fast forward to today and where I'm at, and a few things that I have the great opportunity and privilege of supporting. First and foremost, let me share with you the 51. I know Andrew talked about diversity and the importance of diversity and inclusion. And so I have a great privilege of being a co-founder and director of the 51. And the 51 is just that. 51% of the population is female. But what we find in early stage and later stage technology companies is that venture capital, less than 3% of all venture capital worldwide, goes to female founded or female led companies. And our goal is to change that. And through our platform, through our venture fund, and through our community of dynamic, inspiring, and female investors and entrepreneurs, we're changing those numbers. We are 100% committed to changing those numbers. Our platform is about helping to unlock gender equality, to enable female-led businesses, and to expand the number of women participating in markets, acting as directors on boards, as venture capitalists, as entrepreneurs, as business leaders, but more importantly, as participants in all levels of economic decision-making. We talk about it as a financial feminist economy. But I'm also the CEO of a startup in the energy space, if you will, a fintech startup. I am the CEO of a fintech called Phillip, and we are a mobile commerce platform and application designed specifically for the fuel and convenience industry. We, in fact, make it easy for independent and branded retailers to offer mobile payments and solutions for things with features such as pay at the pump, scan and go, and small business fleet for a fraction of what it would otherwise cost. I'm taking all of my learnings from Chaotix and from Avoco and from many of the 51 and many of the ventures that I have the opportunities to support from the sidelines, and bringing that to market in our new opportunity with Phillip. But let's talk about what else is happening here in Calgary. Because you may have heard this in the news, but our tech scene is recently, and more importantly, I think it speaks to the fact that our, Calgary and the innovation and our tech scene is nowhere near what it was now 20 years ago in 1999 when I first started my company. And so let me bring your attention to a few companies today that I think we should all be incredibly proud of, and who are really and truly anchors of our innovation ecosystem. The first one is Benevity. If you drive along Memorial Drive and Edmonton Trail and you're going over the 4th Avenue flyover, you'll see the sign Benevity. In fact, Benevity was founded now in 2008, so 13 years ago, as a charitable giving software for enterprise level clients. So think of clients such as Apple, Google, Coca-Cola. Benevity is over 100 million in revenue, 650 employees, 19 million users. And most recently, they just had a British venture capital, private equity firm take a stake, valuing that company, Benevity, over $1.1 billion. Truly a unicorn. This is considered to be one of the largest deals ever in the ESG, the environmental, social, and governance space, and one of the biggest software tech deals in the last decade. Here, founded here, started here, growing here. Cement, Another tech company, a bit earlier in their journey. But in fact, what Cement is doing is transforming the debt recovery industry by treating individuals with empathy and dignity in the time they need it most. It's about the combination of behavioral science and advanced analytics and machine learning, and a new business model that we're starting to see emerge with startups like Cement. They just announced they have now had over $100 million in venture financing to grow and scale their business. They're hiring here, growing their team here, investing in talent here. And then last year, pardon me, I guess 2 years now, 2019, Solium Capital sold for $1.1 billion to Morgan Stanley. And Solium Capital, a 20-year overnight success, helps manage employee stock option plans. All of those organizations founded here, grown here with global clients and global opportunities. So as many of you think about moving into, the workforce and taking all of the years of education that you're learning and the work that you've been doing inside of our post-secondary institution, the time is now. In fact, it's incredibly exciting to be in Calgary and the opportunities that are here. We think about new technology companies, we think about intermingling new and old and the new opportunities that are there. And it's really truly about Calgary's future economy. And that it's really about the 4 key components that are there, the 4 key, what we consider to be the common elements that drive the cities and the economies that we want to continue, that we want to be part of and are part of the future. And the things that are common to that are, first and foremost, is capital. And so, you can't have young organizations or startup companies without the opportunity to have capital, where there's enough capital to get those organizations started or get those companies started so they can realize their potential and move towards their innovative business models. I will share with you today, and you'll see this in some of the numbers that I'm going to talk about, there is capital here in Calgary. It's about talent. And you need all sorts of talent specific to the jobs of tomorrow. And while you may think that, engineering talent or different types of talent may not be relevant, let me share with you, I can promise you they are. And it's about community. Less obvious, but incredibly important. You need to have community. 20 years ago, there wasn't a community. Today, the community, the innovation ecosystem in Calgary, and that we have all contributed to is there. There is no shortage of community and opportunities to engage with our innovation ecosystem today and customers. Let me tell you the work that we continue to do every day as part of some of the other work that I do with CDL, which I'll share with you here shortly, and our innovation ecosystem. It's about how do we create the receptors for early stage companies and technologies to be able to, so that corporate partners and large organizations are ready to receive them. And so we work on that every day as part of the work that we do. And so we're not here, so let's talk about where we are. And we are absolutely not phasing out fossil fuels anytime soon. And there are a tremendous number of opportunities in small, mid, large cap oil and gas and energy companies. They will continue to be the bedrock and provide opportunities for recent grads and future grads. It may look different than our parents, or it may look different than the jobs that our parents had or our friends had, but let me assure you they're there today. And it goes without saying that many of these organizations, and we've partnered with many of these organizations from a CDL perspective, are looking, if you will, from a Wayne Gretzky analogy perspective, they're looking to where the puck will be, not where the puck is today. They know, they see the future. They're making the investments to diversify. They're looking at new and innovative technologies, investing in renewables and new technologies. They're building not the jobs of today, but in fact, the jobs of the future. And clean tech and energy tech. This sector is headed for a major expansion over the next decade. Particularly in now that we have the capital and the talent in our city to create and scale these companies. I desperately believe that we have an amazing opportunity to lead the conversation and the realization of energy transition. And this is really about startups. Keep, become aware, keep your mind open, and think about your careers and in terms of startups. There's many out there, and you'll see a few names here. Interface Fluidics, Whitewell, those are all, they all started out as startups and are now growing and scaling organizations in the city that we live and serve. These are the kinds of organizations that are looking for the kind of talent that we are growing and developing inside of our post-secondary institution. And so when you have the opportunity to go and work inside of a startup, you can get 2 and 3 years of experience learning and sometimes failing in a startup. It can be what we talk about as a serious career accelerator, whether it's a clean tech or general tech or general energy tech or tech at all. By 2035, they see every business will be a technology business. So keep that in mind. But you can also look at things like renewables. Battery capabilities are going to improve exponentially over the next few years. And that means that renewables will be a growing part of our energy mix. This is truly about energy diversity. And we are set to see some incredible wins here in Alberta in both solar and wind. And we'll lead the country in those areas. We also have an amazing opportunity in geothermal, and I'm going to share a story with you about that shortly. In fact, some estimates suggest that we will attract almost $4 billion in renewable investments in Alberta by 2025. 2025 is only 4 years away, and that money will go towards capital expenditures and infrastructure, but it will also go to salaries for ambitious, smart, and capable STEM grads. Hopefully you know a few of those folks. When I attended university, which was a few years ago, more than 20, they told us not to count on having one job for our whole lives. And now with all of these opportunities that are in front of you, why would you want to? You're no longer bound by the past. And there is, in my opinion, an incredible opportunity for the future, just waiting for you to go and grab it. But let me share with you just a little bit more about some of the exciting things that are happening on campus, in our university, and in our city, and some of the things that are happening right here. And that one of those things is something that I have the great privilege of being part of, which is the Creative Destruction Lab at the University of Calgary at the Haskayne School of Business. CDL, I am what they call the site lead of CDL Rockies. And CDL is a not-for-profit organization that delivers on what we call an objective-based program for massively scalable seed stage science and technology-based companies. And this is where we bring together the region's most experienced entrepreneurs, investors, scientists from diverse fields: energy, ag, healthcare, software, hardware, and industrials and clean technology. And what we work is we work with those mentors to sharpen objectives, prioritize time, resources, capital, and truly help accelerate the commercial potential of early stage deep science and technology-based companies. It's a model that we've seen across North America to help kickstart economies in places such as Pennsylvania to North Carolina to Texas. And in fact, our focus is on building what we consider to be massively scalable science and technology-based companies. And so imagine that here in Calgary and across the province and across the country, we are incubating what we like to think about as being the next global billion-dollar companies. And so it's about inspiration and perspiration, if you will. 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. And so this is really, at the end of the day, oftentimes inventors get very little credit or profit from a good idea, forgetting just how much effort was needed to turn that idea into a workable, affordable innovation that delivered benefit to the larger masses or to the people. And it's great inventors who realize the importance of downstream innovation. In fact, it was Thomas Edison who said it's 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. Not many folks realize this, but he was one of 21 different people who invented the light bulb. It was one thing to invent the light bulb, and it was a whole other thing to make it commercially viable and commercially accessible. And so at CDL, we're actually grounded on three things. One is that there is no shortage of ideas. We spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars a year in basic research inside of our post-secondary institutions. And so there is no shortage of ideas. And there's no shortage of capital. In fact, you've probably heard the old adage that, capital will follow good ideas. There is truly no shortage of capital. It may feel like that, but there is no shortage of capital. And there's no shortage of hustle. In fact, the Silicon Valley, Boston, and New York, they do not have the market cornered on hustle. But what there is a shortage, and this is what we believe at CDL, is there's a shortage or a failure what we consider to be a marketplace for high quality business judgment. One of the key pillars of our program at CDL are our mentors. And these are folks who have started, founded, exited, operated businesses of size and scale. These are the mentors who can help our startups, help our innovators truly cut the signal from the noise and focus on what's the most important thing that they need to do every day in order to drive their business forward. And in fact, CDL becomes the marketplace for business judgment. And today there's 9 sites. We have 9 sites across the world. We've got 5 here in Canada, 2 in the US, and 2 in Europe, across 13 different streams of innovation. Here at CDL Rockies, we have a stream of innovation in agriculture, in energy, and in what we call prime or general technology. We have sites that support things in CDL climate, CDL matter, and CDL space, blockchain. We are truly at the forefront of innovation, at the forefront of technology as we drive from invention to innovation and helping realize the commercial potential of these types of technologies. Since CDL Rockies started in 2017, there's been over $400 million of equity value that's been created. More than 53 companies have graduated the program. In fact, Interface Fluidics, one of our sponsors for the program today, was one of our graduates. And over $75 million of capital has been raised. But I want to share with you another story. There's another story here that you may have seen in the news, and I think is incredibly relevant to, as we talk about energy and the future of energy in our city, and that's Ever. So here, right at home, part of our energy diversity story is Ever Technology. In fact, in the news this week, I think they announced, it was this week, they just announced that they raised over $40 million US, close to over $50 million to help in terms of bringing their new technology, and we'll talk about this geothermal technology, to market. In fact, BP and Chevron are just 2 of the investors who contributed to that $40 million investment. And they've sparked so much interest that this Calgary-based company is now in discussions with commercial projects all over the world, in Europe, North America, Asia, the Caribbean, South Pacific, and even the Antarctica. And so what is Ever? Pardon me. Ever has invented a method of turning subsurface heat from the Earth's core into what they consider to be an unlimited renewable energy source. Ever is the first, what they talk about as the first viable form of clean, scalable baseload power. It is an improbable mashup between 2 legacy energy solutions, geothermal technology and oil and gas industry technologies. In fact, the drilling technology that Ever uses today for their Ever Loop was made and built and designed right here in Alberta, using our engineers, our geologists, our geophysicists, for the creation of this new type of technology that they consider to be the Earth's battery, if you will, always on, quick to start, dispatchable technology. And so net zero by 2050, we're headed fossil fuels, decarbonization, and renewables will all be part of our future. And all of these technologies, companies, and opportunities are there for our graduates, for our STEM graduates, for our graduates, whether it be STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, and design. And now, STEM graduates now have the opportunity to work in the lab, to be engineers, to focus on mathematical disciplines, or they can lead their own companies. They can use their backgrounds to create products, innovations, and commercialize them. From scientist to CEO, the choice is yours, or in fact, you can choose both. And with that, I wish you well, and welcome the opportunity to have some questions if there's any here in the for discussion. So thank you.
Thank you, Alice. That was inspiring and such a wonderful presentation. Thank you for talking about what it means to embody innovative thinking and what it means to truly embrace the entrepreneurial spirit. We do actually have a couple of questions here on the side. So,
okay.
Well, so one of the questions, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Nima, go ahead. You asked me what you'd like me to answer.
Okay, I think this is a good one. So what's a piece of advice that you would tell your 22-year-old self?
Oh, it's interesting. What would I tell my 22-year-old self? I would tell my 22-year-old self a couple of things. One is, as I would say, be open to surprises. That you may have the best laid plans, or you may think you have the plan or the path all laid open. But what I would say is be open to surprises. Don't fall in love with a company or opportunity. Be open to the adventure and to the experience.
Wonderful answer. Oh, okay. So this is this is interesting as well. So, what do you think are the pros and cons of crowdfunding? Oh, I think we lost audio there. Alice, can you still hear us? Oh. Yes, this comes with the territory of doing a virtual conference, everyone. What you're witnessing, yes. All right, that's great. Well, I mean, I guess this is a wonderful note to kind of end off then. Thank you so much again for joining us, Alice. It was a pleasure having you take part in this year's conference. And again, yeah, we're so grateful to have you be here for this. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. And for everybody that's watching, thank you for sending in your amazing questions. Again, do take advantage of the Habillo sites and go on our profiles to see how you can stay in touch with Alice through her LinkedIn. And if you'd like to learn more about CDL, we are going to be providing links about that and the follow-up email that you'll be receiving soon in the upcoming weeks. So again, thank you so much, Alice. I'm so sorry about the technical difficulties, but then again, yeah, and I think this is a good place to end it. All right, thanks everybody. Bye.